I love talking film. I love watching movies. I even have a movie podcast. It's called Haven't Seen It. You can find us on Apple and Spotify and give us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at Seen It Pod. This week's movie, The Exorcist. Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevenet. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening today. This is a podcast where one of us is watching a movie for the very first time. And this week it is myself. Tommy, you've seen this before, right?
Yeah, this is my third watch. So, yeah.
And I also believe it is our special guest this week. First time we've seen this movie too. Martin and Boaz from the Film vs. Film podcast. It's a movie podcast where they just pick their favorite film topic, director, actor, genre, any subject, and they discuss something about that topic. They discuss the directing, the screenplay, and the acting, and they rank them out. Tommy and I were fortunate enough to join earlier last month, and we were able to talk Taika Waititi films, and it was a blast. We'll link them down below in our description. It was a great time, wonderful podcast. Martin and Boaz, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us on. It is a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
And I'm correct in saying that this is your first time seeing this The Exorcist, correct?
Shamefully, it is. I mean, is there like some sort of ritual we have to do to come on this podcast? You know, Game of Thrones. I was like, Hannah
Shame.
Waddington shouting
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah, I think you should be whipped. Whipped
Yeah.
badly.
Yeah.
Burnt with dragon fire.
Good reference too.
Naked.
Yeah.
Timely reference.
Timely
Yes.
reference.
Very looking forward to that show. House of
Also,
the Dragon.
House
I've
of the
seen
Dragon.
I've seen
Hot
some
D.
paid reviews already that are saying that it's better than Game of Thrones. Which I
Oh,
find.
Jesus. Okay.
So,
Let's
any expectations for House of the Dragon?
Cautiously optimistic, I think.
I'm optimistic. I love Game of Thrones. I really do. I'm not one of these haters that hated the last season. For me, it was season 7 that let season 8 down, so I'm looking forward to it a lot. I like Matt Smith as well. Paddy Considine looks awesome.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it, but if it loses me, it's gonna lose me. You know?
Yeah, I've never been a big Game of Thrones fan, so I'm probably gonna pass.
Yeah. I think one of the things that gives me more faith with it is, unlike the the Game of Thrones show, he didn't finish the books for that. And everything up till when they got, it started to kind of go wonky when they kind of ran out of his material. And this one, House of the Dragon, it's already a book he's wrote. He's already wrote this prequel ages ago. So, I'm less, worried about that. It's pretty damn.
Yeah,
well
I've
put out,
heard.
so.
Yeah, I heard the next book is currently on schedule to come out in 2050. Apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody
He's
else
been
is,
saying like
somebody else is finishing it. There's just because there's
Yeah.
no way they're not going to finish them, but he's not going to finish them.
Yeah.
it's gotten to the point where I almost wonder if like he just has like one page on his like fucking like word processor that just says just like whatever's supposed to be like Songs of Fire Rice 5 or 6, and that's it. And it's just been sitting there for 6 years because like Game of Thrones ended what, like 3 years ago, and he's still not even like made how much progress on the book, if any.
Well,
I think one word a day.
Yeah, I seriously, I don't think he's like, he doesn't like, he kind of goes, oh, it's nearly done, or I'm halfway there, or whatever, but he doesn't like give an exact progress. It would be funny.
He
if
used
he's,
to.
like 5 pages in or something.
I just think it got too expansive, and now he has 2 books to like close the door on it. Like,
and plus, he's sitting on a lot of money. I mean, like he
doesn't have
can
the
go
financial
fucking,
incentive.
he can go base
If he
jumping.
didn't need to.
Base jumping.
I don't know, skydiving, whatever. He can do whatever.
If he really could, he'd just be like, fuck it, whatever. We have the TV show ending. That's the end of the whole book series too. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So.
Maybe he's doing that, copying and pasting everything from like the last.
It's literally just
seasons.
like the script annotations. It
Yeah.
changes from like a normal book until like the second half of the book is just a script reading right there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, we'll stop talking about the terrors of Game of Thrones season 7 and season 8, and we'll start to talk about the scariest movie of all time. This is The Exorcist.
Something almost beyond comprehension is happening to a girl on this street, in this house. And a man has been sent for as a last resort. This man is the Exorcist.
Was that the trailer?
That was the TV trailer. I mean, there's like
Oh, wow.
4-minute cut of the trailer. There's all like the theatrical cut. There's also like band trailers that were epileptic, like they had the flashes on it. We also did The Godfather on this, and I found a TV trailer for that. And
Cool.
boy, they really did not know how to do TV trailers back then.
Those early 70s, still working out the kinks right there. Just that guy's
Marlon
voice was so
Brando is
monotone.
in the film. Watch it.
I'm like we said earlier, I'm the only one that's seen this movie beforehand. So The Exorcist, I feel like, is one of those movies that gets built up so much of like I said earlier, the scariest movie in the world. It was so much that like audiences had to have like barf bags in the theater, and ambulance were apparently like right there to make sure like people wouldn't pass out and stuff like that. So given its film reputation, did you guys feel like you built up a lot in your head and did it meet those expectations? Was it as scary as you thought it would be?
I think if I watched this as a kid, like I did for things like Alien and Halloween, it probably would have scared me shitless. But I think watching it now, you know, a lot of like the Linda Blair stuff with the makeup and the vomit and all those sorts of things, like it wasn't scary to me, you know, the head turning around. I kind of found those scenes quite fun in a way watching them. But actually the scenes that I found the most scary was actually the hospital scenes, weirdly, where you have like the needle going into her neck. You know, they cut just before the needle penetrates the skin, and all the machinery, like there's like a weird MRI scanning thingy like spinning above her head. Like the sound is really loud, and I'm just like, whoa, that's no thanks, next hospital please.
I think that was state of the art at the time, which is just terrifying.
Yes.
Well, apparently it was like called the most realistic depiction of a medical procedure in a popular film, and apparently radiologists used it for like training years after. And that was a lot of things that people, because like the blood like squirting out of her neck was just like, oh god, this is too much.
Yeah, and I guess if you had watched it as a kid in the 70s, early 80s or whatever, like it would be the opposite. Like the hospital stuff wouldn't be as bad, and the stuff with the demon and Linda Blair is obviously the scariest stuff. But I found it just quite interesting and just fun to watch, you know, the horror stuff in that.
I think there was one moment, I think, you know, there's a thing of, you know, there is a lot more, you know, crazy stuff out there currently, you know, really horrible body horrors and very, very scary shit that kind of came off of the back of this. That it's not, it's kind of difficult to sort of compare. You know, this is like, you know, in the 70s, this is ages ago. So I can understand. And also there's the problem of it being parodied, which kind of just ruins the surprise. You know, it's permeated pop culture that if there's anything scary, if I wouldn't have known about it, like I already know about it before it actually occurred. So, you know, that kind of loses its sting a bit. It's kind of like when I watched The Sixth Sense for the first time with a friend, and I was like, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. It's like, damn, it's such a shame that, you know, everybody knows the twist, you know, like, so when it happened,
that's why
I'm like, oh, okay, that's the twist. But I wasn't like off my chair, like, you know, yeah, exactly. What like most people would have been, because I already knew.
Yeah.
So I get the same sort of sense in this film. I think that the only thing that actually freaked me out, because I didn't know it was, you know, I've never seen this bit parodied. So, you know, it's the scene where she does her head 360 degrees. I've seen that. What I haven't seen is her stabbing herself in the thigh. I literally did not know that.
I don't think
when she started doing
I don't
that,
think it was her thigh.
Probably her.
It was
her inner thigh.
Well, thank God The Simpsons just had the head turning scene and not like Bart or something like that, like stabbing himself in the dick or something like that.
Yeah. So like that was shocking. like I knew everything in that scene because I've seen it parodied, except that bit. I haven't seen that bit parodied. So where she's like, choo, 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 I was like, what the hell? So that freaked me out a bit.
Yeah.
I think that was the only part in the movie where I audibly just went, oh my God, you know.
I think a lot of the other things that does hold up in terms of the scariness is like the script and the language that comes out of Regan's mouth. You know, there's even the C-bomb in there. I'm just like, whoa, that's insane.
You know, I think what should definitely be, you know, remembered or sort of appreciated is like for such a young girl, she's an incredible physical actress. Like, she's just she's fucking amazing. And then you think, like all of the lines, obviously she's not talking in a devil voice. Like she's having to dub that, but it's fucking seamless. It's just like I think she's just tremendous.
You can't even tell.
Yeah,
she was nominated for the Academy Award, and then apparently it was found out that she didn't do the demon voice. That was Mercedes McCambridge. And then pretty much that ruined her chances of the Oscars, but still, she's amazing. Mercedes McCambridge.
I think then the Oscar people are fucking stupid. It's harder to dub perfectly to someone else's voice who's a completely different register, you know, than to just make up some shit. And I mean, nowadays they could like get the person making the voice and then do some crap with the, you know, audio equipment.
The CGI stuff wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
they should
I think that's. I would have given.
They should have. Well, both of them give both actresses the award. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like a little co-share thing where it's. I mean, thank God the technology is better because apparently the way Mercedes McCambridge got into the voice of the demon was she swallowed raw eggs, was chain smoking, and was drinking whiskey, even though she had problems with alcohol abuse in the past because she knew it was right for the character. So,
So that's my issue with my accents. I need to drink more, smoke, and
that was that's a deeper voice.
Get possessed by a demon.
The ET voice was done by a chain smoker. Like would smoke like 2 packs a day to get the voice down here. I'll be right here.
Do you think the cigarettes companies tried to capitalize on that? You know, back then, you know, cigarettes.
Like have it ET.
You want to sound like ET,
box?
Kids? You love ET.
Joe
20% off for voice actors, 20% off for voice actors, people. Come along, get your cigarettes.
Strictly in their popular movies.
The Joe Camel ET commercial, where's that?
He touches the finger with like Joe Camel or whatever.
I think the interesting, like, it's more the psychological horror between Chris McNeil and Father Damien Karras as they kind of go through intersecting arcs of somebody who has no faith turning to faith to just like out of desperation, and a man of faith who has basically lost his faith, like almost kind of rediscovering it again towards the end. I think this is a good clip I have here when he meets the devil for the first time, when he meets Regan, Linda Blair's character. It's just like a nice juxtaposition. It gives you good example of like him realizing, oh, this mother was not crazy when she just came to me and said like,
hello, Regan. I'm a friend of your mother's. I'd like to help you.
You want to loosen the straps, huh?
I'm afraid you might hurt yourself, Regan.
I'm not Regan.
I see. Well, then let's introduce ourselves. I'm Damien Karras.
And I'm the devil. Now kindly undo these straps.
If you're the devil, why not make the straps disappear?
That's much too vulgar a display of power, Karras.
Where's Regan?
In here with us.
Show me Regan and I'll loosen one of the straps.
Can you help an old altar boy, Father?
Your mother's in here with us, Karras. Would you like to leave a message? I'll see that she gets it.
If that's true, then you must know my mother's maiden name.
So I ended the clip there so that the audience would not have to listen to vile vomiting sounds, more out of politeness to
that's
them.
the best part.
I do have to say, just hearing like the voice like divorced from like the visual aspect of like seeing Reagan is just kind of fucking hilarious because you're imagining that he's just talking to some like chain smoking woman in Vegas, just like on the slot machines over and over again.
$30 for a Rema, honey.
I still
$10
found it
any
quite
mother sex
creepy.
cocks in hell.
I still found it quite creepy though, listening to just the breathing, not necessarily
Mm.
what's being said, but just like that, that heavy
Yeah.
breathing.
I
Yeah.
thought the sound design in the movie was
Oh, yeah.
it
like
was
just
really good.
incredible. Like that's I think where a lot of the horror comes from for
Oh,
a
yeah,
modern audience is
definitely.
when it's like they're just in the downstairs by the stairs and you just hear the sounds
Mm.
coming
Oh,
permeating from it. Like
yeah, did you
this
see-
isn't a
Did you
normal
notice?
illness.
Did you notice one shot? Because I kind of rewound it a couple of times where they sneak in a. How do I explain this? Like they sneak in a frame of Pazuzu into the
Oh, yeah.
background of one of the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like that. I thought that was pretty cool. Where
So did we all watch the director's the original cut or the director's
I
cut?
watched the original cut on
Original,
HBO.
yeah.
Original, same, yeah. That was on HBO. I watched the director's cut before. The main difference is that they include like more shots of
Yeah.
that, like just a little splice it in Pazuzu a little more, but it's still effective in the movie. Where it's just like you kind of notice at first, you're like, if you're looking at your phone at first, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah,
During that
yeah,
scene.
you see it fine. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I do
Um,
like that scene quite a lot because obviously, we've been saying maybe that with the scares, there's a lot of like limitations with how they can create the scares. But in that scene, like the demon says, like, I'm not gonna use what did she say? Like an abuse of power, abuse
yeah.
of my power,
Yeah, yeah.
abuse of power or whatever. And the demon knows that that he can like terrorize Karis with psychology and cunning and all that, and not necessarily just by using crazy shit in the room or whatever.
Yeah.
Even though she does vomit at him at the end, but that's how she can really get under Karis's skin by saying that she knows his mother. I find that quite clever writing and not just relying on the special effects all the time.
And I think
Yeah.
it's an attack on his lack of faith too. Like when Father Marin, played by Max van Sydow, which honestly incredible aging, like old age makeup, because if you look at him in The Force Awakens and you look at the makeup from this, it looks like
He's aged into
guy.
himself.
What did you guys realize that it was old age makeup at first? Because at first I was thinking, at first I was like, wait, how fucking old was Max van Sydow? He only died. He only died like 2 years ago. Was he just like 80 for like 50 years or something?
Well, you don't know sometimes with those people from the 60s and 70s. Like you ever look at pictures of people that are like, yeah, this man was 30, and you're like, this dude's 60. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I'm very glad it was what's his name, Max van Sydow. Apparently they were gonna cast Brando in the role. That's what the studio wanted, and that would have been terrible because it would have been too distracting. It would have become the Marlon Brando movie.
No, you needed that like stern, cold, calculated, but a man of full faith. Like you see it during the actual exorcism scene where he is so like, they're like, do you want to know anything about this case beforehand? No, I don't. And just like goes up and does it. And
that's
a man
great.
of full faith is able to perform this exorcism, but they get under Karis's skin because Karis is lacking the full faith that he once had because of his mother's death.
I like how it kind of really, when it gets a nerve, it kind of keeps squeezing on it in very interesting ways with like Karis's mother, and making fun of his mother and all that, and that she's in hell with her. And then I like where it kind of it takes on her voice and is like, like, Dimmy, why did you do this to me? Why did you leave me and all this shit? And he's like, you're not my mother, It's like really freaking out. Yeah.
Like if the demon wanted to, it could have easily just killed like everyone just instantly.
Yeah.
But it really just you get the sense it's a troll. It just loves just like finding like how can I piss off this person so much? How can I rile them up?
Yeah. So like I think the way I sort of interpret it is I think at the snap of a hat it could have killed everybody, but
there's no fun in that.
No, it's not just even fun because where he's going to do the exorcism or whatever, or it's the first kind of interview because he wants to like gauge if he can get an official exorcism from the Catholic Church.
Mm.
And it says like, oh, it's a wonderful day for an exorcism. And it
Yeah.
says, and he's like, aren't you
That's a great
afraid
line.
that I'll separate you from Regan? It's like, no, you'll bring us together. What, you and Regan? No, you and us. So like the whole thing is a performance. It's like he wants them to be as pissed off and as annoyed as possible and as hopeless as possible that they'll lose their faith, because then, when they die, they go to hell.
I think that ultimately the demon wants to possess Karis more than anything. I think that Reagan is just like a prop, essentially, to Pazuzu, where it's just like, yeah, this will really like rattle them and like fuck them up if I possess this little girl and make her do like all this wild shit.
Yeah.
But really, like, I want to go after the priest here. That's the guy who I really want to possess.
Yeah.
Because the demon is kind of like feeding off Karis's guilt, throughout the film, because he's very much struggling with his mother's death, and there's that great like dream sequence where you have the kind of typical, well, not typical, but there's like a flash of the demon in like one frame that reminded me a lot of like Fight Club. That was quite cool. But what I loved about it is it kind of showed very real human fears of like your mother like wandering off, because there's that little shot of his mother just like walking down the subway entrance, getting lost and stuff. I thought that was really clever. And also just like you hear the snoring from Karis as well. You don't often hear that with dream sequences. So it's very real. It felt real, the guilt that he was going through, and the demon very much prying on that, and also kind of working. It works against the demon in the end anyway, because it brings Karis back to his faith. Like, yes, the devil is real. I need to sort this shit out. Possess me, and then down the stairs. Bye bye.
One thing I watched out in the dream sequence was the mom. I think the mom in that sequence saying like, "Why'd you do this to me, Damien?" And I gotta admit, that scene just made me just crack up. Her performance and delivery of it was just like almost a little over the top right there. Where I was just like, oh god, this is like, I feel so bad for Damien right here. Jesus Christ.
We were talking about like the hospitals earlier, and how you were like, oh, get me out of this hospital. But we saw the hospital that his mother was put into, the public ward with all the crazy people like attacking Karis, and you're just like they do show you the juxtapositions of the hospitals too, where you're like, oh, like this wealthy actress is going to take her daughter to the best of the best available. That hospital that I think for like a contemporary audience, because you're watching all this old technology and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Oh my god, get me out of here!
Why is the blood spurting out her neck?
Like, where are they taking her? But at the time that was state of the art, and then it's nice to see like a ward that was built in the late 1800s probably.
Yeah,
and that's all they
like
have.
A fucking prison.
Yeah, and
I just kind of like that real subtle reaction. Subtle acting performance Karis does when like all the patients, or some of the patients, are like grabbing his arms, and the nurse is trying to take the patients off, and he kind of just snaps a little bit and just beats them off a little bit. And that was kind of a really interesting thing, because I think if he was a priest, he wouldn't, fully fledged priest who is completely committed to faith, he wouldn't do that sort of thing. So I quite enjoyed his arc in this movie.
So it's also kind of very Christ-like if you know your good book, where the people were trying to take some of Christ's power, for healing and stuff when he was walking around, like astounding him. Yeah,
totally. It's just one of those things where like some of the scenes were just like, I was kind of shocked on rewatch this time. I mean, like we were talking about this earlier. This movie's more of a drama than it's a horror movie. At the end of the day. I mean, like, we had the things with like Reagan being like the possessed and that's scary and everything, but this is just at the end of the day an existential crisis of one man and how he's going to like renew his faith right there. And I just like how it lets it breathe a little bit. I mean, like some of the characters we didn't even see die on screen, which if this movie was made today, you'd probably have like the scene of you'd have to have the director's scene like of him getting like killed by Reagan or something like that. It would be more outward, more obvious, right, what happened.
But I love what's his name, Merrin's death. I think that's definitely my favorite, because as you said, Tim, when he comes to the house, in that an amazing shot when he gets out of the taxi cab and
iconic.
the light is beaming down
in the fog, iconic.
Yeah. And Merrin asks, do you want to know any background on the case? And he's like, why? And then they just like, no, we're going fully straight ahead with the faith angle of doing a proper exorcism. I don't need to know any details. Let's just go for it. So you feel like you are in safe hands with Merrin, even though that there's a lot of freaky stuff going on. And then they take a break, and I think Merrin stays in the room. And then when Karras goes back in the room, Merrin is dead, and you're like, "Oh shit! What's gonna happen?"
Like, we're fucked if this guy can't get it.
Yeah, because we were talking that the demon was kind of playing with them, didn't want to like kill them straight out, even though it could. So you're just like, how did Merrin die? I don't feel like the demon was that particularly violent towards the priest. Karras's character throughout. Yes, you have the vomiting, but she was always more violent to her mother, I would say. So it's just, and because she's just sitting on the edge of the bed, just giggling. So you're just like, how did he die? It's just such a really interesting moment, because obviously in the opening scenes are amazing in Iraq. There's a lot of creepy stuff going on, but you don't see him again for like a good hour and a half,
ages.
Yeah,
you forget about him.
Yeah. He has this amazing
I think it's like
presence.
hour and 40 minutes into the film that they finally contact Merrin. So
yeah, it's one of those things when you're watching it, you're like, what was like the first part of this movie for? Like, why don't we go back to this character?
Yeah, I was kind of confused. I thought that was maybe like Reagan's dad or something, like, because they keep mentioning her dad. I was like, who the fuck is that character? Is that why she got possessed?
Like, why are they in Iraq?
Way
what
later. Yeah. But it ties it back in.
That was the screenplay mark of beginning of Act 3.
Yeah.
Merrin's cab arrives outside the house.
But yeah, when he arrives though, you just feel like, yes, okay, we're safe now. We can get through the rest of the film as we're watching it. And he gains so much presence because you feel like you're in safe hands. But I love the opening scenes of this film in Iraq. I'm a big fan of like M.R. James ghost stories. He loves like very ancient English architecture with churches and cathedrals, and I got a lot of that kind of M.R. James-y vibes here with the archaeological finds and stuff. And even there's a little scene where like he sees an old guy, he says something to him, and then the next shot on the old guy, like it seems like he's dead or just like frozen or something, I don't know. And then when like before that, when Merrin like picks up an artifact in a hole, and it looks, I don't know, really a dog thing, I don't know what it is, but literally after that, like all his acting is different. He feels shit scared throughout the rest of that scene in Iraq. He's very troubled about something, but you just don't know what. You have the obvious thing as well with that amazing Smiths, hitting that metal thing in rhythm, and he looks around and he's only got one eye. And even just the simple thing that doesn't really connect to anything, like near the end of that scene when they're in a church or his office or something, and the clock just stops ticking. And it's like, why has this happened?
It's all like a very...
Yeah, but in a really positive way. You're just like, okay, something really weird is happening here with this character, but you just don't know what. And I love how ambiguous it is.
It's a very like interesting way to open up the movie, because like, you'd expect this movie to open up with like Reagan and her mom or something like that, and like the scene that we see later in the movie of just like them like being a normal mom and daughter relationship or something like that. And instead, it opens in that way. It's kind of like you said, ambiguous. You're wondering like, okay, what's happening here? Why are we opening up in Iraq? Who are all these characters that we don't see except for Max von Sydow for the rest of the movie?
Yeah,
it's just like, what's going on? And it's a more interesting way to open it, I feel like.
Well, when I opened it, and then it started with the hammers and the sun beating, I was like, is this the 45-minute mark of Raiders of the Lost Ark? Like, what movie did I just get transported to? Like, I was completely like I was like taken aback at a moment because I've obviously seen The Stairs, like Georgetown, that part of DC. I'm, familiar with like that aesthetic. I was expecting that, didn't get that immediately, but it's nice. And I think that, I think that symbolizes the awakening of Pazuzu or whatever. They don't mention it by name in the movie. They don't mention it by name because it's a silly name. But I was thinking about it when I was watching
Snake
it.
Penis Man. There you go.
Yeah. And they have the scene on Regan's birthday with Chris screaming at the operator, trying to get in contact with her birth father who's not there. And that's like Regan's vulnerability, is that she has a parent that doesn't care about her. And it's very clear that the demon attaches itself and attacks people who are vulnerable. So it's attacking Chris. Her vulnerability is her daughter being sick. He attacks Karis because Karis is lost
Guilty
his
about
mother
her mother,
and guilty about that. And with Marin's death, we don't really know what vulnerability they attack, which I think works in the movie's favor, but it attacked that vulnerability. Maybe it's his age that's what
it just says old as fuck. Just like he probably could have startled Marin and just had a heart attack. I was like,
maybe it could just be because Marin didn't like tell anyone that like some sort of demon has been released, in Iraq or something. Like you should have warned people, but you didn't. I'm going to kill you now.
Well, I'm not sure if that was the case, but I feel it could be, I suppose. But yeah, maybe it's just his fear of the creature. Or, in the scene before that, he was very worried about if, Karen could like do this bloody thing. Like he kept, it's like he was worried if he had enough faith to see it through with him. So
he dismisses him.
Yeah, and he does dismiss him.
Marin in a character is like pretty much emotionally closed off, like you said earlier in the beginning of the movie. It's like, do you want to know any emotional background? No, I don't need it. And I think that's probably what doomed him. I mean, like I gotta imagine that Pazuzu knew something that struck a nerve, and he was so emotionally closed off that just affected him.
Alternatively, it could be like, he could have killed any of these people at any point, and because he specifically sort of asks for Marin, when he the demon or whatever is making all that noise, and he plays it to this linguist, and that guy's like, it's English, and when he rewinds it, it's like, fear the priest, Marin, and stuff like that. It's like, what? So it's kind of seeking him out anyway, and then I think it could have just brought him there to kill him, so it would freak out everybody else, especially
possibly
Karis. So it's like that would definitely break the family's faith if, like, the best guy in the business was killed.
At this point, I think Marin just like outlived his usefulness probably, and he was just like, okay, like Marin's like almost too much of a threat. I have to take this out now, and it's gonna like fuck up everyone even more. So I mean, Marin.
Yeah, I think he just kind of led him there to kill him, so that it would screw everyone over. And it kind of did work because he did possess Karen or whatever. But then he had the foresight to jump out the window and kill himself.
Karis sacrifices himself, and you get the great scene of the other father, Dyer, shaking the hand, giving the last right, which is I want to jump into Friedkin and his particular techniques. Well, because in that sequence, when he's shaking the hand, right before the camera rolled, Friedkin slapped him as hard as he could across the face. So and behind the scenes, like the making of the thing,
can't do that now.
The actor who was actually a priest, Father William O'Malley, he was like, I wasn't shaking my hand. That was just happening because I was just petrified about what happened, like startled and petrified about what happened. But there was like a lot of injuries. The production took double the time it was supposed to. Like Linda Blair, because they had a lot of rigs on her, like throwing her back and forth, like she hit her head. Ellen Burstyn, when she gets thrown back, they did a take and she was like, that's way too hard. And then they did another take, and Friedkin goes to the stunt guy and goes, do it, give her everything you got. And he's like, you serious? He's like, yeah. So then they pulled her back. She thought she broke like a bone in like her back, and they had to take her out. She didn't, thankfully. But Friedkin, if you've ever, I haven't seen The French Connection, but I saw like I've seen the clip of when he's driving through when he's driving through the downtown of Brooklyn. They didn't have a permit to film that. That was just Friedkin
No,
in a
yeah.
car filming that, and he's just like, "Yeah, weave through this traffic, man. Go reckless." Like
Freaking,
would-
like everything I've heard is just insane. Like I think one of my favorite stories was that he told Karras, what's his name?
Jason Miller,
the actor, Jason Miller. He told Jason Miller, like, okay, like during the puke scene, don't worry, it's only gonna hit your chest. Like it's all good. And then of course the scene happens where Pazuzu like pukes all over. It's like pea soup wherever, but the puke got all over his face, and like his visible look of disgust was real, because he was just like, what the hell? And of Jason Miller, he like literally right before a take, like fired a blank gun right in front of fucking Jason Miller to startle him, to get him in the mood. And Jason Miller was pissed off. He's like, I'm an actor. I know how to express emotions. You don't need to fucking treat me like this.
Yeah. Sucks to be an actor, man.
it's weird because he does such these extreme things on the set.
I think the director was the real demon.
Oh yeah. Oh, for the
he was
cast,
actually possessed.
Absolutely. Yeah. But his style, because he came from a documentary background, his style is so like flat, and like the story, like I think the horror in it is like, if there was an Exorcist that happened in your life, and you had to go through this process, this is what you would imagine the process to be. Like,
yeah, definitely.
There's like only one kind of jump scare. When she goes up into the attic, she hears the noise upstairs, and it's just the housekeeper who is moving something around. Like there's no jump scares. It's all it's a horror drama. It's the drama about a family member that's trying everything to help their family member, and they can't do anything about it. And it's like a very poignant moment, like through line of the movie.
The theatrical cut especially is like a lot more restrained in the way it goes about. Whereas I remember the director's cut had one scene of like Reagan like spider walking towards someone, and it was kind of cheesy, and it's like wouldn't really make sense for that. I mean, there's a reason.
I think I saw that one. I think I saw that one.
Oh, you saw?
I saw the spider walking.
Oh, so you saw that? You saw the director's cut.
Yeah,
I guess if you're a Junist, it wouldn't scare you very much. You're like, yeah, I can do that at home, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But overall, I mean, like it was just the director's cut is a little bit more explicit with just like the horror scenes and stuff like that. And I kind of prefer the theatrical way, where it's just like, we don't need to see everything.
Yeah, I feel like it must be such a good time to like work on this film as like a visual effects guy. Like, there's a scene where loads of crap. Yeah, where like there's a scene where loads of crap is being thrown at the wall. I can just imagine seeing loads of people just like lobbing shit at the wall. It's like, yeah, let's do this all day.
I also really like towards the end, every time they go into the room and it's so visibly cold, like the steam coming off of their breath.
Well, apparently they refrigerated the set. The set was like refrigerated. It was like freezing temperatures. Yeah. So like Linda Blair was just in that nightgown throughout the whole movie. Like when she was on that set when it was cold as fuck. And she like to this day cannot stand being cold because of that. Because like literally like she was freezing. Like literally the breath on them would be like CGI'd now or something like that. But back then you had to do it more practical. So it was like, okay, these actors are actually gonna freeze to death.
But
cool.
it looks so much better. Like that's the other thing too. Like it. Back to the realness of it, it feels so real, where I think a lot of time the horror comes from like the extensive gruesomeness and like and like the body horror and the kills. Like this doesn't have that. This is played so much more straight and played so much more.
Yeah, I mean, even the head turning all the way around, that still works for me. I'm like, that looks awesome still, even watching it now. It works.
And the makeup looks fantastic too. Like and like Linda Blair acting through that makeup is like really impressive, because she's got like 10 pounds of crap on her face.
One thing I think was really impressive, I want to kind of know how they did it, was where she kind of levitates and then you get like cuts start appearing on her. Where she's like cuts on her leg and cuts on it like she's being clawed or something. I thought that was a pretty damn good effect. Kind of wondering how they did that.
Well, I wonder like how much with like wires and stuff like that.
A ton of wires, ton of rigs, but it makes for a really effective film.
I mean, I don't envy the guys under the bed near the start. I mean, I'm good. I wouldn't want to work on that.
Yeah,
that's a lot of physical action to get that bed moving.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that kind of happens in these films now, and which happened in this one, is like all the doctor scenes, and it got to a point where I'm like, are you doctors even seeing what the fuck's going on? You know, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, she needs more medication. She needs this. Maybe she's got a thing in her brain. Like she talks like a demon and literally it's got superhuman strength.
It must be like some Michelin frog.
She slaps the fucking psychiatrist across the room. Like at this point where you just go, like,
It's like,
I
yes,
don't
more
think this is a
drugs, I think,
medical
yes.
problem, you know?
You'd almost wonder if it's like some Michelin frog type scenario where like if Pazuzu was just kind of more normal Reagan when the psychiatrists were there, but the second like the mom comes out, he's like, "Oh fuck you, you're a bitch," just screaming out shit.
Come here
Yeah.
and lick me. Like,
Yeah,
oh
that
my
was
God.
Fuck me,
Oh,
Chris,
God, yeah,
fuck me.
Yeah, that was
Fuck
fucked
me.
up.
It's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah.
So, anyways, moving on to who's the star.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
Tommy, Martin, Boaz. Who is the star of this movie? Who gave the
Wahlberg. He's the star of every movie.
Every answer.
He just said it. He just said it.
I'd have to go with Reagan. I mean, Linda Blair. She literally is just like almost a special effect in herself.
Yeah, I think she's
performance right there. I mean, it's great that we have like at least like a couple scenes of her being like a normal, sweet, innocent girl. So it just makes the juxtaposition of her being like possessed by Pazuzu that much more horrifying and that much more like crazy.
I think she does even a tremendous job, you know, even with the stuff where her voice isn't, you know, and she isn't dubbing the stuff where she's just like, "You're all gonna die soon," like, you know,
Oh yeah, when
fucking
she wets
dead.
the floor.
Yeah. And it's like just really creepy shit, you know, or the stuff
That
she
was
says
great.
at the doctor office. It's just like she can just like turn it off, you know, the sweet innocent stuff and turn on like I'm a, you know, murderous demon from somewhere else.
Like a switch flip.
I mean, I'm not discounting Linda Blair's performance there. I think she does a terrific job, but I think in terms of like what the movie needs, I think it's Ellen Burstyn. Like, I think
Yeah, she
she carries the emotional through line of this movie, and it's really like her story. Like Regan is more of like the plot, and Chris McNeil's the protagonist, and seeing her go through that as a mother and having to experience that happen to her child. Like, if you just had a child, I would never recommend that you watch The Exorcist, because it would be the worst movie you could possibly watch in that case. But it's so because it is so effective, and I think it's really her performance that carries that.
Yeah, she does a good job.
Like, Max von Sydow's great, but he's in the movie for 10 minutes. Jason Miller is also great. Like, there's no bad performance in this movie.
I really want to shout out. We haven't really talked about him, Lieutenant Kinderman and his film Love.
His
Lee Cobb.
storyline is really interesting because it feels like he is a bit of an intrusive presence for Chris in this story. You know, he's trying to find out about like what happened to the director, like how, you know, surely it must be your daughter doing it. Obviously not direct like that, but it's just an unwanted problem for Chris that's just a pain in the ass for her. Like, she's just like, yeah, okay, just go away.
Yeah.
I love
like,
in
I
terms of just,
really
like,
want Regan to be saved here. I don't need this.
I just love his like quirky character trait of like how much he loves movies, to the point where like after he's interrogating Chris about like, hey, is your daughter the one that killed this guy? She's like, anyways, big fan. Can I get an autograph? It's for my daughter. And he's like, no, actually, it's for me. And so she's just like, oh god, I'm gonna.
And he's a
get the fuck
creep
out
as
of my
well.
house. Yeah, he's such a creep about it too.
Yeah.
He definitely has a film podcast if he was alive today.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, no, he would have a supernatural theories podcast about what happened to the director or whatever, like weird deaths podcast.
Conspiracy. And then every episode, what I really want to see would be like the detective, like procedural cop TV show of him, and the end of every episode is him like talk about some movie he's about to go see, and it's just like, Margaret Robbie and Leonardo DiCaprio, Wolf of Wall Street, looks like a good one. Or some shit like that.
That feels straight out of a 70s show too. Like, every episode ends the exact same. Just a little twist on it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I really like was it Collins, or what did you say her name was again? Like
Chris.
the mother.
Chris.
Oh, Chris.
Chris, that's the one, Chris. Yeah, like I really like her performance. You know, she definitely displays like absolute, you know, she's just beside herself, like in any scene where it's like, you know, she just wants an explanation of what's going on. She's like very distressed, and she does a really good job of that. I really like the scene where she first meets Keris, and she wants an exorcism, and it's just done in such a way where like she's trying to hide like this bubbling despair in her, and trying to convince him to do the exorcism, and he's trying to like talk her out of it, that there's no such thing, that she kind of breaks down in front of him like, I need some fucking explanation. I need something.
I am so glad that you.
Was good, yeah.
I'm so glad that you brought that scene up, because that's the second clip that I have, and I didn't know how to introduce it because there was just no through line for it. But now I can.
Look, I'm only against the possibility of doing your daughter more harm than good.
Nothing you could do could make it any worse.
I can't do it. I need evidence that the church would accept as signs of possession.
Like what?
Like her speaking in a language she's never known or studied.
What else?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
I thought you were supposed to be an expert.
There are no experts. You probably know as much about possession as most priests. Look, your daughter doesn't say she's a demon. She says she's the devil himself. Now, if you've seen as many psychotics as I have, you'd realize that's the same thing as saying you're Napoleon Bonaparte. You asked me what I think is best for your daughter. 6 months under observation in the best hospital you can find.
You showed me Reagan's double. Same face, same voice, everything. And I'd know it wasn't Reagan. I'd know in my gut. I'm telling you that thing upstairs isn't my daughter.
That was the scene you were thinking of, right?
I was thinking of a scene just before that scene. It's still a very good scene. Yes.
Close enough. So
close enough.
Classic Boaz. It's a very good scene.
Yeah, it is a good scene.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, that's the emotional connection right there. I mean, that's like the heart of the movie right there. That's her being like, I know I'm not crazy here. Because like I feel like almost every horror movie has to have that scene of like a character being like, yeah, I know this sounds insane, but trust me, this is actually what's happening. Like you need that little moment right there of the mom being like, I know what's going on here and how it sounds, but trust me, that is not my daughter in that room.
Because at this point she's like exhausted all options with the hospitals, so she, as you said, she's exhausted all options, but she at this point she's really desperate. She's desperate for help, and she wouldn't dream of thinking of asking a priest to do an exorcism, you know, from the start of what she's even like half of the stuff that she's seen. But now she's like, I need you. I'm desperate now. But at the same time, she doesn't want to show her desperation fully. You know, she's got, you know, the big coat on, the glasses on. She wants to be as, you know, ask as nicely and as civil as possible. But eventually the emotions just pour through. And it's interesting with Karras's character as well, because he really is kind of resisting as much as he can with this situation. He's at this point not willing to, you know, try and connect to his faith again, because of what's happened with his mother. So it's just really interesting from his angle as well. You know, he's explaining the whole process, like, yeah, you have to get it approved. I have to get it approved by, you know, the Catholic Church. You know, is she speaking all these different languages or whatever? So he's very much trying to not make her do this. But for both characters, they kind of have no choice but to do it.
Are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
All right, boys, here's the real question. Would this work as a Muppet adaptation?
Yeah, I think so. Hell no.
I would like to see it. I mean, like, who would be the Muppet? Would have to be like, who'd be the only human left? Probably like what's Jason Miller, right?
No, it's Max von Sydow.
Max von Sydow. Everyone else is just a puppet. I mean, like, would
Oh yeah.
No, I think Merrin, you know, the priest, he's a human. Yeah. Everyone else is a puppet.
Imagine.
You have to make it.
Imagine
Sid can't be a Muppet.
Imagine
Yeah.
Piggy
Reagan has
just
to be-
flailing around. Flailing
Like,
around.
the opening scene just wouldn't work if Sid was a Muppet. It would just be like looking weird. Yeah. It would just be hilarious. I don't know.
What I'd love to see would be if in the beginning of the movie, like Reagan's like, I don't know, like Gonzo or something like that, or some random Muppet, and then right when she gets possessed, she turns into animal, and that's the possessed Reagan. Animal.
There's the drums.
Mana.
This segment is more to get a Disney executive listening and being like, you know what those Muppets really are? Fantastic treasures, and we need them back.
Yeah, exactly.
More so because we have really discovered doing this segment over 30 movies that like there's been like 5 that would truly work as a as a Muppet
That we would
adaptation.
legitimately want to see like really badly.
The rest of them were like, it wouldn't work, but I'd like to see them try.
Yeah. It'll be terrible, but sure,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I think you could make maybe like a 5-minute parody, with the Muppets. I don't think you could make the whole movie.
I'm shocked they didn't do that like back in the Muppet Show, because that's still in the zeitgeist back in the heyday of the Muppets.
It's still in the zeitgeist, like the head turning, the vomit. It's still in the zeitgeist. It's and even like that iconic shot. It is like it's truly just incredible when he gets out of the cab with the fog pouring in, and then, like the lighting is just right. Like,
and they still reference it. I mean, like the last Conjuring movie that came out last year, it literally like had a shot for shot like part of that scene of just like the iconic part where it's just like, okay, I referenced it Exorcist here.
Wait,
cool, we got it.
I was going to come up with a joke, but I think I don't. Is Cookie Monster a Muppet?
Yeah.
He's a Muppet?
Yeah, he counts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that cool. Yeah, because I was thinking you could go your mother sucks cookies in hell or something like that.
Oh right. Okay. Seriously dirty then.
The demon would either have to be Cookie Monster or Animal. That'd be the only other options.
just flickers between the two of them, right? Like it's just Animal, and then the next time it's Cookie Monster, but it's the Cookie Monster from Family Guy that's like that has the cookie heroin like thing where he's just addicted to it.
Yeah. Just replace every usage of the word cock and cunt with cookie.
Cookie, exactly. And when he pukes up, it's just cookie. It's just cookie vomit.
Chips Ahoy everywhere.
Like chocolate chips just coming out of fucking Jason Miller.
Marin will just be like, do it again. I love cookies. Do it again. Vomit on me again.
Well, Martin and Boaz, you're more than welcome to join. When we end up getting the Muppets back on TV, you're more than welcome to join as executive producers. And
I'm more than willing to be on set when the cookie vomit scene happens. Sure, I'll be there.
Oh, actually, do you know what would be another hilarious thing? Is she's got that really deep, grassly, demon voice, and she goes, "Oh, sorry, there's a frog in my throat," and a frog, Kermit,
and Kermit comes up,
and that's why she was talking so weirdly.
Yeah. That would be scary.
That would be very funny.
Too terrifying
in my throat. Hey guys!
All right, gentlemen, it is review time. Martin and Boaz, we'll kick it off to you first. Score out of 5. Give us your final thoughts.
5. Holy fuck! All right. Wow.
Where are all the rest of the numbers?
Yeah, what do we do, Martin?
We got it. I don't know.
We keep it like Letterbox.
Yeah. I've got to go 5 for me. I think it's amazing. Yeah.
Oh my god. I think maybe 4 out of 5.
Oh come on.
4 out of 5.
No,
okay.
I'm not going to go 5. I'm not going to go 5.
Why not the perfect 5?
I thought it was good, but I still think it's like, it's still of its time, and it still didn't scare me. And like, had I had my mind wiped, yeah, maybe. I also thought like some of it dragged on a little too long, like the beginning, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
I love the beginning. I think you can say a lot of the effects can be seen as a tad dated, but a lot of them still work really well. And I love the opening scene. I think it's
I'm not
cinema.
talking about the opening scene. I'm mainly talking about like, I suppose, the setup, too much of the hospital doctor stuff. I do like it, but maybe I would just shave it a little closer.
That's why you watch the director's cut. Maybe probably I need to watch the theatrical. Maybe I had too many.
You probably got the 2 hour 10-minute cut. Yeah, that's
I think I did. Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, okay, yeah, I'll watch
Boaz's
the theatrical
review
cut
is
after
void.
this. Shut the fuck up. I'll watch the theatrical cut after this and see if the cuts increase the film in my estimation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought, the beginning was a bit long. But yeah, no, I mean, I like it. I'm not one that gives perfect scores so flippantly,
I like that. I like that.
So I do. So I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5. I think that this movie, I think this movie set a template for pretty much any Exorcist movie or a demon movie, like pretty much has to reference
horror
Exorcist
in general
right now.
as well.
Yeah, horror in general. Yeah, just like how many times we talked about the head spinning scene. That's really like everyone knew that scene going into this movie, even though we most of us haven't seen it before. But I like that on this rewatch, like how really just like captivated how this movie is more of a drama really than it is like honestly a horror movie. I mean, yes, the horror is the backdrop of it right there, but at the end of the day, this movie's all about a mom who just wants her daughter back and back the way she was, and a crisis of faith. So all the performances stand out. There's not really much I could say that is really negative about this movie. I don't like blood squirting out of necks during medical scenes, but whatever, it's a horror movie, so what do you expect? But 5 out of 5.
So I was on the cuff here. Between a 4.5 out of 5 and a 5. And I think having this conversation has elevated this movie to me to be a 5 out of 5. And as not a horror junkie, I think I really liked how reserved it was and how like straight it was. And I just liked the realism that takes place. Like it felt like it would happen to you and me. I said that before. If one of us, God forbid, ever had to go through an exorcism. It's just well acted. The horror is more psychological in my opinion than it is in the actual creature itself. But I think the effects don't even really look that dated. They just look practical. I think the 2-hour runtime, perfect timing, ends really nicely with the necklace and looking down at the stairs. I really need to go visit those stairs in Washington, D.C. now. And since Boaz did not see the theatrical cut, he saw the director's cut. That means we have 3 out of 3 of the theatrical cut, 5 out of 5, which gives this movie.
Pour myself a cognac, and I watch the 14 fists of McCluskey. What a picture! What a picture!
Good picture.
It's our What a Picture award.
Yeah,
it's a
good picture.
Listen, you're still talking about movies 50 years later. There's actually a clip of William Friedkin that went viral. He was talking with the guy who directed Drive, whatever that director.
Nicholas Winding Refn.
Yeah, they were having directing and they were saying like talking about a masterpiece, and he called one of his other movies After God a masterpiece, and Friedkin just goes off on him like an unhinged lunatic, and he's like what's Citizen Kane? He's like, it's a good movie. He's like, no, do you know how many movies were released in the year 1940 and we're still talking and comparing and like observing this movie 80 years later? That's a masterpiece. You can't declare your movie from 3 years ago a masterpiece because you really like it. And I'm like, well, he's 100% right. He's unhinged.
Yeah, he's not
100% right.
Well, as we saw that he was slapping actors across the face to get them in the scene, in the mood for the scene. So, little honest dedication.
I mean, Nicholas Winding Refn is a bit weird, to be honest. Like his films are extremely violent. Some of them. Yeah. I mean, Only God Forgives. Again, like people either give it like a 5-star or a 1-star. It's that type of movie. But he's one to say, he's one to say like cinema is dead and hasn't made a film for a while now. So
The Neon Demon was his last one, right?
Yeah,
that was a great movie.
I like that.
I love that.
I like that.
Yeah,
but he ain't making a movie anytime soon.
No,
unfortunately.
Well, Martin Boaz, this was a ton of fun. Would you like to tell us where the audience can find you guys?
Yeah, sure. We are the Film versus Film podcast. You can find us on all the major podcasting apps: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, all those apps that we all love. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook at Film versus Film Podcast, Twitter, FEF_podcast.
Very nice, very nice. Tommy, any final thoughts?
So thanks guys for listening. Great show overall. You can find us on social media at SeenItPod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and leave us 5-star reviews and leave Film versus Film 5-star reviews too. It helps us out. So
Yes, please.
Thanks guys for listening.
Thank you guys all so much for listening. We're figuring out our September schedule, but we'll see you next week.